Good morning, viewers, and welcome to your favorite morning program, now streaming, brought to you from the Advent Cable Network Nigeria. Now, the big question is, have you ever thought of a unique way to bridge cultural divides, foster understanding, and promote peace? When we travel, we step outside of our comfort zone, encounter new perspective, and learn to appreciate the beauty and diversity of our world. If you do all this, you are considered a tourist and practice tourism. Today, we join the rest of the world to celebrate World Tourism Day 2024, and it comes with a unique theme, which is tourism and peace. This I consider a very timely theme, coming at a time when peace is urgently needed across the world. We shall be discussing this alongside other national trending stories for today. I am Godwin Ujiri, your uncle, and with me in the studio to discuss these trending stories and topic before us is Venerable Joseph Unuayan, JP, the Director of Civic and Political Affairs of the Church of Nigeria and the Chaplain of the National Assembly. Also with us is Mr. Kayode F. Aiyegbusi. He is the Acting Director of Arts and Culture, FCT. Gentlemen, you're welcome to Now Streaming.
Thank you. Nice having us again.
All right.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for coming. All right, viewers, remember you can be part of the show by calling in the number on your screen and sending in your comments via our various social media platforms. So very quickly, we will be diving into the discussion segments in today's show. And today, like we earlier said, we would be looking into tourism as a potential driver for peace. And this year's theme, for me, I said it is apt and timely. It is tourism and peace. So many of us will be asking, what is this tourism? That is why we have the right person here in the studio to do justice to this. So, Mr. Kayode, can you help our viewers understand the meaning of tourism and why the celebration of World Tourism Day today?
Well, okay, thank you. Tourism, let me just be as simple and direct as possible. Tourism is the maybe activity that involves moving from one place to another for different kinds of reasons. It could be for business, it could be for leisure, it could be for medicine, for medical, it could be an eco issue, eco related, it could be culture related, it could be sports related. So there are very many reasons why that movement occurs, and the factors that actually make it a tourism issue is that it involves your maybe staying in that place, performing an activity. So it is not just that you could just, so if you are just passing through, for instance, you might not be regarded as a tourist. Yes, so it involves your staying in that place, possibly even staying overnight, getting an accommodation, then performing an activity. Either you visit a hospital for medical reasons, or you go on a tour for adventure. So it involves an activity. So those are the things that make it tourism. So simply put, and like the reason for celebrating it, I think the United Nations, in their good wisdom, felt it was something that could help humanity if properly projected, if it is properly harnessed. It could be an instrument of bringing people together, of helping us achieve, just like this year's theme says, achieving the necessary peace we are all looking for.
All right, thank you so much. Nigeria happens to be a very unique state, spanning across huge hectares of land, diverse cultures, and a whole lot. Now, for me, and like I said before, it is coming at a time where we need peace all across the world, and especially in Nigeria. So what are those lessons that you think can be drawn from this year's theme that says tourism and peace?
Tourism has a lot. Tourism and peace are intertwined. One, tourism cannot even effectively take place where there is no peace to start with. So you must have a peaceful environment for you to be able to drive tourism. And the act of tourism in itself also drives peace. Because for me, I think one of the biggest issues that bring conflict, one of the biggest problems we have that drives conflicts among us is lack of knowledge about each other. We don't know enough about each other. And it is because we lack that knowledge that it brings fears. It brings a lot of wrong conceptions about each other. Because I don't know you, I just think in my head that, okay, this is why this man does what he does. But meanwhile, I just need to dig a little deeper to know why you do what you do. And even when I don't like what you do, I will understand the reason why you do it, and I will be able to live with it. So the issue of tourism would help us to understand each other better. And when we understand each other better, we would have a peaceful environment.
All right.
Tourism also drives economic activities. And when people are okay financially, just like we've been saying, when people have money in their pockets, their standard of living is good, there really would be no reason for conflicts, for fights. Most times, it is when there is poverty, there is lack, people can use such people to create all kinds of problems. So tourism also, in that sense, helps to drive peace.
All right.
So there are so many activities that tourism brings that helps.
Sure. Thank you so much. Venerable Unuayan, I would be coming to you now. Peace is essential for growth of every nation. And as a venerable in the church, you are the number one preacher of peace. And it is coming at a point where we need these things more than ever in Nigeria. So, as an advocate of peace, do you see the coming together of people traveling from one point or the other as being a good driver for peace building process?
Yeah, certainly. People coming together, we certainly to understand themselves.
Yes,
we certainly impact positively on peace building among them. Like as our brother said, if you have a misunderstanding, a wrong perception
of people
about who the other person is, what his intentions are, why is the reason behind what he's doing, you tend to dislike the person, and all those things have a way of breaking down peaceful relationship. So visiting each other, relating together, certainly we impact positively on peace. For instance, I have a relation, she's from Poland but based in England, who of recent went around almost the whole world. She was in Africa for moving from Cairo to this, to Uganda, to Tanzania, to this. From there, she crossed to India, go around there, from Middle East. Then from there, came to go to Dubai. In fact, it took almost 1 month plus before she went back. So, and she kept uploading photograph, interaction with people. You see the joy in the face of the people. You see her also very happy. So such networking, I use the word networking, such networking certainly we bring understanding, we bring harmony, we bring peaceful coexistence. And you see her with blacks, she's a white lady, black, mingling together, eating together. They are teaching her what they do in
things they
their
do.
yes. In fact, we come to a point where say, where's our wife doing inside shrine? So I think certainly it helps understanding and it will really engender peace.
All right, thank you so much. Mr. Kayode, the Venerable just brought to life a life example of how this can help. But one thing I got from what he was saying, what ensured that this particular close relation of his is able to travel from one country to another is security.
Security.
And yet we are drawing home the fact that our security situation in Nigeria is volatile. So what do you think that we can do to ensure that tourists are safe in Nigeria?
Yes, like I said, you can't have tourism if there is no peace. And I mean, security is one of the benefits or the factors of having a peaceful environment. It means you can move about at any time the way you want. You're at peace with yourself and people around you. I remember in those days when we were younger. I know my parents were living in Lagos and they would just put us in the train. I schooled in Kaduna. They would just put us in the train at 10, 11. Our school would have reserved coaches for us. I went to Federal Government College. They were all of us who were going up north from the southwest. There will be Federal Government College, Kaduna, Kano, Sokoto, Federal Government Girls College, Bakuri. All of us would have our coaches. And our parents, they didn't need to go with us. They would just put us in the train. 3 days journey. Go. And as little as we were, there was no trouble. The only problems you might have is maybe the train derails somewhere, which might give you some extra day or something. But there was no fear. Our parents they knew we would get to school. In fact, it was so bad then there were no phones.
So when
you even get to school, to even call and say,
I've
arrived. So it is when you write letter that they will now know that, okay, you are in school.
But the parents were still confident because there is security.
They knew that you were okay. You could go to anywhere you wanted. In fact, I had people who would tell you they prefer to travel in the night. That it's better for the vehicle to move up, so it was safer, So it's important that you must have a secure environment before you can have peace. So I would want, just like you said, what can we do? We need to make our environment more secured. And that means we need to settle those issues locally, the issues that are bringing all that volatility, that are bringing all those conflicts, all those things that are making us not to be at peace. We need to settle them, which means we must settle all our economic issues, all our social issues. We must find solutions so that when people are like the places you must have visited, those are people who were okay to receive visitors. And there was nothing, they didn't have any problems receiving her as a visitor. I have also been opportune to go out of this country with a contingent. We were in Israel precisely for about a week or thereabouts. And at the end of our tour of Israel, the Nigerian ambassador to Israel then, Ambassador Manzo, who eventually became a senator, I think from Adamawa also, made a statement that what he had been trying to do in Israel for maybe 3-4 years, we did it in 1 week. And what did we do? We sold Nigeria to Israel. We exposed Nigeria to Israel. We showed them who we were we showed them our culture, our cuisine, our fashion, our movies, because we went with movie makers, and we just went with the whole gamut of this is who we are. And it changed a lot of perspectives. People, what they saw on TV, and again that comes to what the media also needs to do. We need to do less. We need to downplay those negative things and do more of the positives. Because yes, Nigeria is not safe. There are problems, there are issues, but sometimes it's not as bad as they make it look. Abuja, Kaduna, yes, there have been kidnaps, but people, if you see, go to the Kaduna Park now, it's filled with people who are traveling on that route.
Right now.
They are going to Kano, they are going to Sokoto. Yes, things happen, but we shouldn't make it look as the other places where we think there is peace. The US, you could be going on the street, somebody shoots you. It's the end. But they don't celebrate such things. South Africa has one of the highest crime and rape rates, but it's one of the places people go to. So we also need to do less about promoting the negatives and start telling people about what is right about us.
All right. Indeed, we have to do more in promoting the positive aspects of all we have to present to the world. Now, Venerable, you came from a place where I would say cultural heritage have been kept, preserved for a very long time, and I mean the Benin Kingdom. Yes. So I want to now ask, how were they able to preserve this heritage for this long? How were they able to preserve it? Because that have been for us in Nigeria one of the tourist destination in Nigeria. So how did they get it right in Benin?
I think the monarchy or the monarchical system in Benin Kingdom has played a very unique role in the preservation of the culture of the Edo people. And if you have lived in Benin, like those of us who came from Edo State, from Edo Central, but I started my work as a priest in Benin, where I worked for 17 years before coming to Abuja. You will see that the palace is still very, very serious about the tradition, the heritage. And so they have done their best to make sure most of these things are preserved. And from time to time in history, Benin came under attack from foreigners, and they carted away with so many things. But the few left, I think the monarch and in council have been able to do their best to cherish those things and to preserve them. We have the Benin Museum at the center of Benin there. If you go to places like Egun Street and Area Street, you will see brass work, carving, and all that. People, Area Street, people come from all over the world to visit and buy piece of artifacts there. So I think what I see there is that the palace has been able to hold the system together, and that is why all these things have been well preserved. The only one that I'm not too happy with is the Benin mold. We're supposed to be, I think it's a World Heritage, site, UNESCO site, but the way it is being abused by people are stumbling, building across it. People have turned Benin mode to refuse dumping ground and all that. Benin mode have a very solid history surrounding it that should be cherished by everyone. When you see the Benin mode and the way it's connected around the whole of the city of Benin, you begin to wonder how people were able to use their physical hands and energy to dig such a moat around the city to ensure that the city was secured.
Just a rider to what Venerable said. What you have in the Benin moat, for instance, is almost like the Great Wall of China.
Exactly.
Look at how well they've kept their own. You can't go to China without visiting the wall, and you pay.
You see,
it's not free. You pay, you buy little mementos, little souvenirs and stuff like that. So I think the early exposure again of Benin to the Europeans, and when they came and they saw the system, what they saw in place really amazed them. Benin had traffic light when most of Europe did not even know what traffic light was about. Yes, you can investigate that. So Benin already had a system that was in place and that was working. Solid. Very, very solid. They had well laid out streets. Everything was in place. So even the white man was baffled. Now, you mean these our so-called savages could be this organized? So they started that relationship with the Benin Kingdom from way back, and they've kept Benin in the news. And just like Venerable said, the monarchy has been able to do a lot. A Benin person is proud of his heritage. They've been able to do that, so that even their children, even the young ones now, when they tell you, I come from Benin, I come from Benin, I be proper Edo man. I know they take, they are proud of their heritage. So they
cherish their language
they pass
and
it to their children. and it keeps, it's there for forever. So that's what a lot of other communities also need to do. You must take pride in those.
And they have a lot of potential. For instance, we have to commend also the administration of Adam Oshomole when he was the governor.
Yeah.
He introduced Okpekpe.
Yes, the brought people from outside.
Annually, he brings people from all over the world. And you see auxiliary businesses.
That's what tourism does.
Okay, just to ask, whenever I get you quite well, how has all of this helped in promoting peace within even that territorial space? Say, for instance, in Benin. Because when we talk about this tourism, we are not just looking at it from the angle of people outside coming in.
The domestic is also important.
Has this actually helped in that?
Yes, I think from what Venerable said now, when something like the Okpekpe road race is happening, there's nobody who is fighting everybody, because everybody is concerned about one, let's do business. The visitors are around, let's make some money. Networking, people, even the local athletes participate, and they make friends today to get connections to go outside and also participate in other people's races and all that. So activities like that would always ensure that, because when there is such activity, it's a time of happiness, it's a time of joy, it's a time of rejoicing. So people are looking for opportunities, they are not interested in conflicts at that time. So it helps to promote peace. So the more of such things you have, the better for your community. So that you can imagine what happens when you have something like an Olympic in a place. The whole world comes there, everybody, at the end of the day, they count what they've made, they count gain. It's only maybe Nigeria that organized an international event, and at the end of the day, we say we didn't make money. In other places, that's why people clamor. Countries clamor to host those events. They beg for it. They practically do everything to get for it. So it's something, they know the import of what that does. So it's something every community would gain from such activities.
All right, Mr. Kayode, I quite understand and get all what you're saying, but I still want to ask, because when you speak about culture now, we're looking at cultural exchange in most times. Now, Venerable spoke about how the Europeans came and carted away with most of our iconic treasures in this part. But now, in the time we are, how can we ensure not just the retrieval of it, but that we have this balance as regards to cultural exchange between we as Nigerians and the world?
Okay, just like I used the instance of the Israeli trip that I said we made. We have done things like that, and I know we have also hosted countries that have come into Nigeria to showcase their own culture. And I know that, yes, it has helped us. Right now, Nigeria has one of the finest relationships with a place like China. Because the Chinese have deliberately, the thing about some of these things is you must be deliberate about your action. It's not, you must be intentional. It's not, you don't leave it to just happen. Look at the way the Chinese people are spreading all over the world. They are becoming like the world powers. Even the US and the rest of them are scared of them. Because the Chinese will come here, for instance, and build what they call a friendship center. They teach you their language, they teach you their culture, they make sure you can learn their songs. It's not by accident. It's a deliberate thing to bring you closer to China. Fortunately, I was in the Chinese where people will go out to apply for visa.
Embassy.
It's not even the embassy. They just have a place. People who receive this thing on their behalf. I saw the crowd, brother. I was telling somebody that I said, God, what is happening here? Where are all these our people running to? China. To do what? Yeah, some are going for business. But the whole idea is that they've opened that channel. I've met Chinese Igbo chief that speaks Igbo as if he was born in Ujiri. To the extent that the people gave him a traditional title. So where I'm going to is government, and even at the local level, also need to encourage these cultural exchange programs. We need to have instances where you deliberately take people from one place to the other. Government also needs to have a system of encouraging even workers to take vacations. Nigeria, we hardly go on leave. Even when they say there is an allowance for your leave, you collect the allowance and still work. You don't go in. They practically have to beg you to take some time off and go and rest. A white man would, from the beginning of the year, is already planning. By July, so. If he lives in the UK, he's telling you, I'm spending 3 weeks in Spain. If he does Spain this year, next year he will tell you, I'm going to South Africa.
Yes.
Now, he's exploring, just like the relative that Venerable mentioned. It was a deliberate thing. That lady must have sat down and planned
She
her
does
itinerary.
it annually.
She had planned it. So we also need to encourage our people. But again, when people don't have enough to eat, how do you now even save to go and do a holiday? So all those are the issues we must first address to make it possible for us to now have this kind of cultural exchanges and stuff. I am a Yoruba man. I've spent the better part of my life up north here. And so I have a better understanding of the northerners than a brother of mine who might not have left Lagos. His understanding will be completely different. Definitely. I went to a federal government school where we came from all over the country. So my friends are from all over the country. That that kind of exposure. So we need to start promoting those kind of things that help us to get to know each other better.
All right, thank you so much. Venerable, lastly on this, what would you recommend? What would be your recommendation as regards to tourism and also peace and reconciliation in Nigeria?
I think there's a lot to gain from tourism. If this takes me back to to our leaders, and where there's no vision, the Bible says the people will perish. As we were talking, I was just imagining if proper care can be taken of Benin moat, where people know that, I don't know how it just came to my mind that if the depth of that moat is much, that you can make a narrow, the base, make it such a way that if it's tied round, and it becomes a monument that people can drive through to experience it round. And you told it at the beginning that to drive, you want to drive through Benin moat to experience what the moat is. Then when at the point of entry, you pay something and drive round. It will be a cool source of revenue for the state and also the federal government. And we have this revenue, this tourism potential scattered all around the country. All around the country. There are some places you go to along the road. I'll be driving those days when the road, you can still use the road and have some. I can just be driving, and when I see the way I'll come out and be snapping photograph on top of the rock. I know you can't try that one now. Otherwise, they will take you behind the rock and they start demanding money from your people. So there are areas government can look into. Look at is it Cross River? During Donald Duke, you could see visibly this man is projecting tourism, developing area. I was shocked when is it in NTA I saw a kind of a documentary of how most of the things initiated has been abandoned in the bush. So many things there in different parts of the country that we need to explore. It will boost our economy. Boost our economy. We are talking about economic development. Diversity. Let's diversify our economy. So instead of pressing to increase tariff over and over again, let's look at different aspects and explore it. And I think tourism is one area that government can invest on.
All right, thank you so much, Venerable. Lastly, sir, because we are actually out of time, what would be just your last word on this, your prospects to tourism? as regards to peace building in Nigeria? Lastly.
Well, just borrowing on, riding on what Venerable has said, tourism has very large potential.
Large potential.
There are countries that practically thrive on tourism, nothing else. They don't, and they don't even have 100
the likes of
what
Dubai,
we
yeah.
have. Dubai doesn't have anything. Dubai doesn't produce anything. What Dubai does is Dubai takes from you are bringing, then this person is bringing, you will take from here. That's all Dubai does. And they've made their environment
so conducive, so
for
attractive.
such activities. So people will leave the UK and go and invest in property in Dubai. They will leave the Eastern Bloc and go and invest in Dubai. So what they've just created that environment. So it is intentional. I keep using that word. You must be intentional. Government must be intentional about what it wants to do in tourism. We can't be saying tourism is the next oil, but we are not investing in it. The facilities we are talking about, the tourist attractions, you must add value to them. Somebody will not just come and see that moat the way it is now.
No.
You must add a value to it. There must be a reason. You say there is a waterfall somewhere. What else is there? Yes, water can be falling now, but what else is added to the waterfall?
Yeah.
Is there a hotel? Is there a children's something
Is
that
there
attracts
good road to the place?
Good road to the place? Is there
security around the place?
So you must invest in that value. You must put those values in those places. There are in fact, the tourist attractions in Nigeria, I don't know whether we've really done a compilation. They are overwhelming. Overwhelming. Most countries that thrive on tourism don't have percentage of what we have. This country is too. In fact, sometimes my friend will say, our problem is that there's too much in Nigeria. God puts too much in this. That is why we don't even know where to go.
Too much.
We have too much in every area.
Natural resources.
Natural, human, every aspect. Look at our weather.
Wonderful.
People would, in places now, people die from heat. Some from cold. Some from too much water. There is nothing. The problems we have, we create. We are the ones that will dig where we shouldn't dig, and then we now have a gully. Then erosion comes. We are the ones that we build on waterway, and then it blocks it, and there's the flooding. We create those problems. So the government just needs to be more deliberate, more intentional about what it wants to do.
All right. Thank you so much to my wonderful guest in the studio, Mr. Kayode, and also Venerable Unuayan.
Permit me to congratulate the governor-elect of my state, Senator Monday Okwewu.
All right. Sir.
And I want to thank the PDP, I want to thank the APC for listening to the cry that some of us have been crying for some time now, that they should look at the direction of Edo Central. So I thank both parties, and even though one have to lose in the contest, it's always like that.
The contest.
We want them to work together for the development of Edo State. The road network around Edo State is so terrible now, and we want Monday Okwewu to hit the ground running as soon as the time comes. Yes.
Definitely, we hope he does that, and he does well.
I think we hope he will do. We hope he will do something.
Doing
you read something about him. Said he's going to be the servant of the people.
Definitely, we hope so.
And I believe he will stand by his word.
We clearly hope so. That doesn't seem to be a meritorious like we always have it. All right. I think that is the much we can take. I want to thank my wonderful guest for staying tuned. It has been quite an insightful discussion. And to my wonderful viewers, I say thank you so much for staying tuned. So let's not forget to celebrate World Tourism Day by committing to travel with an open mind and a compassionate heart. Let's use our journeys to build bridges, promote peace, and create a more interconnected and harmonious world. This is where we would be drawing the curtain onto this show. Remember, you can get more of our programs via our various social media platforms, and also by staying tuned to this station. So we'll come your way again with other interesting topic, same time, same station next week Monday. I am Godwin Ujiri, and bye.